Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to my channel. Welcome, curious minds, to our video that explores the ins and outs of Supergolden ratio. In mathematics, the Supergolden ratio is a geometrical proportion close to its true value is the real solution of the equation. The name Supergolden ratio results from analogy with the golden ratio, the positive solution of the equation. Thumb upright a triangle with side lengths and has an angle of exactly 120 degrees. Now, let's shift our attention to definition. Two quantities are in the Supergolden ratio squared if left frac over right frac over the ratio frac over is commonly denoted. Based on this definition, one has a beginnerline left frac over right frac but left frac over right left frac over right I implies psi left psi right equal I and lean. It follows that the Supergolden ratio is found as the unique real solution of the cubic equation 1, 0. The decimal expansion of the root begins as 1.465 231 876 768. The minimal polynomial for the reciprocal root is the depressed cubic x1, thus the simplest solution with Cardano's formula, a beginnerline w left frac assert frac right 1 psi assert I and lean, or, using the hyperbolic sign, psi frac assert sind left frac operator mea sind left frac right, is the superstable fixed point of the iteration x1. The iteration exegete x results in the continued radical psi cert dots. Dividing the defining trinomial x1 by 1 obtains x, and the conjugate elements of our x left isotype psi plus a right psi with x1 and x6. Get ready for a captivating exploration as we unravel the layers of properties and their profound significance. Thumb upright rectangles in aspect ratios and from left to right tile the square. Many properties of R related to golden ratio. For example, the Supergolden ratio can be expressed in terms of itself as the infinite geometric series. Psi summa no inf psion and up psi equal a summa no inf psion in comparison to the golden ratio identity. A varphi summa no inf varphian and vice versa. Additionally, 1, 1, 2, 2, while summa no psi n equal. For every integer one has a beginnerline ipsine, upsine, ipsine, upsine, ipsine, ipsine, upsine, upsine, ipsine I and lean. From this an infinite number of further relations can be found. Argument theta arcs psi satisfies the identity tan theta sin theta assert. Continued fraction pattern of a few low powers are beginnerline psi approx ipsi ipsi approx ipsi approx ipsi approx ipsi approx ipsi approx I and lean. Notably, the continued fraction of begins as permutation of the first 6 natural numbers. The next term is equal to their. The Supergolden ratio is the 4th smallest Pisset number. Because the absolute value $1 cert psi of the algebraic conjugates is smaller than 1, powers of generate almost integers. For example, 67.000222765, 67. After 11 rotation steps, the phases of the inward spiraling conjugate pair initially close to nearly align with the imaginary axis. The minimal polynomial of the Supergolden ratio max x1 has discriminant 31. The Hilbert class field of imaginary quadratic field K math cert delta can be formed by adjoining. With argument or cert delta generator for the ring of integers of 1 has the special value of Dedekind eta quotient. Psi frac erp I eta cert eta tor. Expressed in terms of the Weber-Ramanujan class invariant Gn. Psi frac frac cert delta cert frac G assert. Properties of the related Klein J invariant result in near identity episcrit delta approx left cert psi right. The difference is the elliptic integral singular value krf has closed form expression. A lambda sin yark sin left cert psi right, which is less than the eccentricity of the orbit of Venus. Turning our focus to an array in the sequence, let's explore its key elements. Thumb upright a Rorsi fractal associated with the Supergolden ratio cubed. The central tile and its three subtiles have areas in the ratios thumb upright, a Rorty fractal associated with the Supergolden ratio squared, with areas as above. Narayana's cows is a recurrence sequence originating from a problem proposed by the 14th century Indian mathematician Narayana Pandita. He asked for the number of cows and calves in a herd after 20 years, beginning with one cow in the first year, where each cow gives birth to one calf each year from the age of 3 onwards. The Narayana sequence has a close connection to the Fibonacci and Padovan sequences and plays an important role in data coding, cryptography, and combinatorics. The number of compositions of n into parts 1 and 3 is counted by the nth Narayana number. The Narayana sequence is defined by the third-order recurrence relation NN1 NN3 for N2, with initial values N1. The first few terms are 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 13, 19, 28, 41, 60, 88. The limit ratio between consecutive terms is the Supergolden ratio. The first 11 indices n for which nn is prime are n equal 3, 4, 8, 9, 11, 16, 21, 25, 81, 6,000, 241, 25,747. The last number has 4,274 decimal digits. The sequence can be extended to negative indices using n, n3, n, n2. The generating function of the Narayana sequence is given by a frac x samanoinfti and an axana text for x1 psi. The Narayana numbers are related to sums of binomial coefficients by nn sumikal floor n a floor and it choose k. The characteristic equation of the recurrence is x10. If the three solutions are real root and conjugate pair and the Narayana numbers can be computed with the bind formula nn to unbunken with real and conjugates and the roots of x10. Since Abuncan and the number is the nearest integer to 2 with ANDA, coefficients of EC1 result in the bind formula for the related sequence at nn and n3. The first few terms are 3, 1, 1, 4, 5, 6, 10, 15, 21, 31, 46, 67, 98, 144. This anonymous sequence has the Fermat property: if P is prime, appear mod P the converse does not hold, but the small number of odd pseudoprimes n at n1 makes the sequence special. The 8 odd composite numbers below to pass the test are n equal 1155, 552,000, 599, 2,722,611, 4,822,081, 10,479,787, 10,620,331, 16,910,355, 66,342,673. Thumb upright, a Supergolden Rorty fractal of type AB with areas as above. The fractal boundary has box counting dimension 1.5. The Narayana numbers are obtained as integral powers of a matrix with real eigenvalue Q, a Begin matrix 1 and 0 and 1 and 0 and 0 and 1 and I end of matrix. A canobegin matrix and end of matrix. The trace of gives the above. Alternatively, can be interpreted as incidence matrix for the Lindenmayer system on the alphabet with corresponding substitution rule a beginkas a mapster ber mapstuk k mapster a indicase and initiator b. The series of words produced by iterating the substitution have the property that the number of and are equal to successive Narayana numbers. The lengths of these words are Lao NNN. Associated to this string rewriting process is a compact set composed of self-similar tiles called the Rorty fractal that visualize the combinatorial information contained in a multiple generation 3-letter sequence. Let's now turn our gaze towards Supergolden rectangle and explore the fascinating connections it has to offer. Thumb upright nested supergolden rectangles with perpendicular diagonals and side lengths in powers of. A supergolden rectangle is a rectangle whose side lengths are in a ratio. Compared to the golden rectangle, the supergolden rectangle has one more degree of self-similarity. Given a rectangle of height, length and diagonal length set psi according to 1. The triangles on the diagonal have altitudes $1 set psi. Each perpendicular foot divides the diagonal in ratio. On the left-hand side, cut off a square of side length and mark the intersection with the falling diagonal. The remaining rectangle now has aspect ratio 1 according to 1:2. Divide the original rectangle into 4 parts by a second horizontal cut passing through the intersection point. The rectangle below the diagonal has aspect ratio. The other 3 are all supergolden rectangles, with a 4th one between the feet of the altitudes. The parent rectangle and the 4 scaled copies have linear sizes in the ratios 1, 1. It follows from the theorem of Liebman that the areas of the 2 rectangles opposite the diagonal are equal. In the supergolden rectangle above the diagonal, the process is repeated at a scale of. As we progress through this video, let's now turn our gaze towards supergolden spiral. Thumb upright supergolden spirals with different initial radii on a rectangle. A supergolden spiral is a logarithmic spiral that gets wider by a factor for every quarter turn. It is described by the polar equation x with initial radius and parameter k alpha psi pi. If drawn on a supergolden rectangle, the spiral has its pole at the foot of altitude of a triangle on the diagonal and passes through vertices of rectangles with aspect ratio which are perpendicularly aligned and successively scaled by a factor. If you have any suggestions for future videos, feel free to drop them in the comment section.